Firstly, we previewed our film to some sixth formers and year 10s from school. We did this to gain some response and opinion from an audience who our film is aimed at. We filmed a couple of responses from sixth formers not studying media and asked many people to fill out a questionnaire in the film. Here is our rough cut.
Mom, what's up? Doesn't matter. We'll talk about it later. What time does the number one come? What time does the number one come?
So if you have a look now at your handout, okay, we're looking at the right hand side, okay, and we've got the rest of the chapter is basically all about window dressing. So the sort of things that businesses can do to window dress the accounts is things like looking at their
We need to phone an ambulance.
What time does the number one come?
Firstly, we asked the people to give us a brief description of our plot and our storyline. Most people answered that it was about a boy who didn't know he was dead and was confused about why he was being ignored. He later witnessed his own death. This meant that the audience understood where we were coming from and were not confused by the storyline. However, some of the younger audience struggled to understand some parts of the story, which meant we had to explain it to them. This is one of our highlighted scenes the audience thought particularly worked well. The audience thought the mirror camera work worked really well as the close-up shows the emotion in his face. The quality of the camera work was also mentioned as being good. The audience also liked the added sound effects, which added tension to the scene. The feedback we received from this scene was that it was really clever how Greg was being ignored and how the bus drove past. Some of the younger audiences did not understand the bus scene because they couldn't understand why the second actor did not get on the bus. However, it was a very hard scene to complete because we needed to show the boy was a ghost and show he was clearly being ignored by the bus. That meant that our second actor didn't get on the bus either. The audience thought the camera work in this scene was particularly good. They liked the way the two actors were stood next to each other and you can see both people's reaction. We wanted to make sure the audience knew exactly what sort of character Greg was. When we asked him, most realised he was a geeky type. They told us this by his clothes, his white socks showing, smart dress and his hair. From this response, we knew the audience had read our character correctly and he had been given the right stereotype. We asked the audience to pick out any bad bits of editing. They noticed this scene was very shaky because of the handheld camera. Also, the camera loses its focus in this scene as you can't really read what the newspaper says, which was our main focus. The camera also loses focus in this scene as I've highlighted there. The main problem the audience had with our film was the car scene at the very end. They said it wasn't clear what was going on as you never saw Greg looking at his own body. You can't tell he's looking at his own body from the scenes below. I was not overall happy with the scene, however the sound worked really well. The audience enjoyed the ambulance sound, however could have done with some background noise to add more tension. As you can see, I reshot the car scene on my own. Instead of just using Jack, I had a standing body to lie down which wore similar black trousers and shoes, only shot by the feet so you couldn't tell it wasn't Jack. I added more makeup and fake blood to make it look more realistic. I also added more music and sound effects to build more tension.